Welcome to the Capoeira Experience podcast, where you are going to learn how capoeiristas got where they are, how they keep the motivation, why they do what they do, and even how they do business through capoeira. I hope you enjoy it and learn something from their experience. What's up, Capoeira Nation? Welcome back once again to the Capoeira Experience podcast. Thank you so much for every single of you for spending some time here with us, here with myself and every single of our guests. And thank you so much for sharing this podcast with every single of your friends. So today, we're getting close to finish the film series. So in today's episode, I got the pleasure of interviewing one more female capoeirista. She started capoeira in 2002, but it wasn't until 2007 when she really stick to capoeira until today. She started in Puerto Rico with Anoe Capoeira. Now she's part of Karkara Capoeira in Florida. So let me introduce you to Monitora Vermelhinha. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing really good. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm really excited about this.
Yes, of course. Like, we talk through Instagram. I really wanted to have you here because I see your commitment with capoeira, and I think that's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a back and forth. I'm glad we got to do it before the series was over.
Yeah. It's a very nice series that I really like it. But yeah. After that, I got some surprises. I don't want to say. Yeah, it's spoiler alert. I don't want to say. But there's more series coming up this year.
Nice.
Perfect. So as every single of my guests, I want our listeners to follow you on Instagram or any social media to see who you are, see your face and all that if they're listening. So what are your social media so they can find you?
So yeah, on Instagram, my name is Monitora and then _ Vermelhinha.
Nice.
And then on Facebook, it's my real name, which is Bianca Puig.
Nice.
Last name is Puig.
Nice. That's awesome. And do you care if you share the website of the group?
Yeah. The website is capousa.com. It's in
cool.
Florida and Boynton Beach.
Oh, that's awesome. It's really easy to remember. That's awesome.
Yeah, Capoeira.
Yes. So anyway, I don't think there's a soul that goes to Florida. So if anyone is going there, make sure you hit them up and go train. We'll do some capoeira with them.
It's awesome. I'm here in a cool spot.
Nice. I can tell that it's really, really nice. It's really nice. I've seen videos and it's like, man, this place is legit. It's nice.
Yeah, it's really nice, and the people are really cool. Like, there's a lot of good capoeira. The Mestre Vecino, he's like super committed to like building good capoeira and making sure that the history and the martial art is like respected here. So I love it. It's home. That's awesome.
It's really cool when you find a place of capoeira, you can say, I feel like this is my home. Like you said.
Super important.
Yeah, it's really cool. So like, for everybody to know who you are and all that, tell us a little bit your story of capoeira, how you started until now. You can start however you want.
Okay. So yeah, like you mentioned, I started the first time in 2002. I was 10 years old, so I was a kid. And how it happened, I used to live in Puerto Rico, right across the street from this park that they did a joda every Friday.
So cool.
Yeah, like from my balcony, I used to be like, what are they doing? And like, I was like, that's so interesting. And then I asked my mom to take me to the park, and then I went, and it was just like so mesmerizing. The drums, I mean, we all know. It's just catch my attention and called me. I was like, oh my God, I need to do this. So then I just started going every Friday. That was like how I started. And then little by little, my mom started taking me to the classes. And yeah, so that was the first time in Puerto Rico. They were a group called Anoe Capoeira. And then I was young. I couldn't drive myself, and my mom couldn't take me anymore, so I kind of stopped. But like, I remember I had a CD, like a capoeira CD, and I used to like have my mom play it in the car, even if I was in training. And then years later, it was like, it's always been like in me. So years later, I went back to it when I was like a teenager. And yeah, since then I trained in Puerto Rico for a year and a half, and then we ended up moving like with my mom to Miami in Florida. And then there was Anahuac Capoeira in Florida, so I trained over there, and then that teacher ended up moving, and there wasn't anywhere on our way, and then I started training with Cavallo and Venus, Mestrando Cavallo and Professora Venus. They're awesome. Professora Venus, if you're still doing, you should check her out. She's like, oh, I love her.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I trained with them for a little bit, and then they changed groups, and it's just this whole like politics about capoeira and the groups and changing groups, and like I know that's a topic that a lot of people are aware of. So I got caught like as a beginner. I didn't know like what was I supposed to be doing. Like, I wanted to stay loyal to my group in Puerto Rico, but then eventually even the group in Puerto Rico wasn't even Anahuac anymore. It's just like this whole. So then I kept training though. Like no matter where I was at, I found a place to train. And the community in Florida is like very united for the most part of capoeira. And kept training, and that's it. And now I'm here. And then I ended up moving up north. So Miami's south, like an hour and 40 minutes from here. Okay. So I ended up moving up here and found Capoeira Karkara about almost 2 years, I believe. Yeah. And then, I started training here, found a home. And that was a whole process in it on itself because the whole, changing groups, I had stopped training capoeira because I didn't necessarily feel as comfortable in the group that I was at last.
Yeah.
And it was even if the same thing when I was younger, the CD and all of that, I used to play capoeira in the car, and because I wasn't training that much with the group, I would cry. I would be I would just hear the beating bow and I'm like, oh my God, I miss it so much. I want to train. But I don't know what kind of listeners you have, but if there's anybody out there that is struggling with groups and all that, all that matters is capoeira. And
yes,
at the end of the day, I had a whole internal battle of what other people are gonna think of me if I change groups and all of this. So that made my process of going back to capoeira even longer. So much it took a whole year for me to get back into capoeira just because I didn't change groups and I didn't want to stir the pot and all of that. But I dropped all of that and I just what's important for me is I need to train.
Yeah, for sure.
But so then I found them and it's been awesome.
Yeah. I was on that transition too because I started in a group called Raíces de Brasil back in Venezuela, and then a friend of mine brought Capoeira Brazil to Venezuela. And then he was like, hey, come train with us. This is fun. Let's go train. We're going to be training almost every single day. And I was like, man, well, all my friends back there. And then at some point I was like that too. I was like, I'm doing capoeira because I like it. If they are my friends, they're not going to judge me. They're going to be they're going to push me, go train. It doesn't matter the group or whatever. We're going to support you.
Exactly. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's your life. And that was it was a huge personal growth for me to be able to let go of caring what other people will think, because at the end of the day, those people that might judge me, they're not living my life day in and day out. That when I'm in the car and I hear the beating bow, I cry, they don't know that. They're still living their lives, and if they judge, then they judge. But I'm glad that I took that step and let all of that go, because I found a place that I feel at home. Right now, so as the story unfolds right now, is dream job. I don't have another job. All I do is capoeira. I work here.
That's so cool.
Yeah, my income, everything is made of capoeira, and I feel I'm so blessed and so in awe with myself that I decided to let go of what anybody else thought and just walked in here and be hey, I just want to train, and I respect all the other groups and people I have trained with, but I just didn't feel comfortable. And that's okay. It's not disrespectful or anything like that. We all have our place. And
exactly.
Did that.
Where you click, where that thing clicks, and it's where you feel comfortable. That's where you have to follow.
Yeah.
I don't think it's about logo or group or style. It's wherever you feel comfortable, or wherever you feel home, like you said.
Yeah, and it's a huge conversation too, because if we think about where capoeira came from, it's all about freedom.
Yes.
And then so we start as human beings. I think it's not just capoeira. It's everything in the world. We just try to put people in boxes and create all these rules around what's good, what's bad. But that's all man-made. At the end of the day, if we honor what the art is about, it's about freedom. and so
That's right.
so
Yeah. I always I love to say this because I truly believe on this, that capoeira was made to bring people together. Because like you see all these slaves coming from all around Africa, they came to one place and they create this, and then without language, different languages, probably different enemies, and they're like, oh, like now our enemy is the capataz, and now we gotta train for this.
Yeah, we gotta capoeira is like the one thing that they had in common and kind of like helped them survive through all of that. So yeah, just like when you put a group of people, no matter like where it is, whether it's capoeira, whether it is whatever organization, everybody brings like their baggage, like however they, whatever beliefs they create about themselves and about the world and how the world should work and how they should interact with each other. Like it's just like all these things, and I think we have a good opportunity. Like if we're having this conversations, it's already like such a huge step towards like uniting the people that are wanting to make a difference in
for sure,
in capoeira and all of that. So I mean, we can spend time like being like, oh, like I hate the people that are ego, blah blah, but in a way, if we do that, we're doing the same thing as them.
Yeah, exactly. And just
to like the drama and all that, so just accept no matter where there's going to be ego people, and we just can bring the connection and the purpose of capoeira, which is to like express ourselves and train hard.
Yeah, I agree. And it's like everything in life, or you part of the problem or you're part of the solution, and it's just like it's better be part of the solution and have fun, and I rather to spend my energy and part of my thoughts and my energy and my capoeira towards like someone I can be friend with, than instead of like using the energy negativity and be like, it just that doesn't match me. It's just more fun when you like smiling. I mean, it's like a hoda. I just see it like a hoda. It's like a hoda is more fun when everybody's jumping, when everybody's like going crazy, and that energy, instead of being like that hoda when no one's clapping and no one is singing. It's just the same thing.
There's so many metaphors. I feel like the more I'm like in capoeira, it's like just the hoda itself could be, you can find a metaphor for everything in life. It's it's really cool.
Yeah. I love that's why I love this, because is so many ways where you can be like, oh, this remind me to the hoda, and then, oh man, like it's, I don't know, I just love capoeira in all the aspects.
Same.
Yes. And okay, now before we start touching because I wanna give some inspirations to the female capoeiristas out there to try to work, like I mentioned off camera, try to work and step up towards creating an income from capoeira. Of course, that takes work and all that. But before we go into that, why Vermelhinha? Why Vermelhinha? Why they call you Vermelhinha?
So Vermelhinha is, of course, vermelho is the color red. So vermelho is like little red in a way. Well, I don't know. When I train, my face gets super red, so that's the story. That's literally it.
Oh, okay.
It's like, because I'm like pale, so when I train, it's literally just my face, like over here. Well, the people are listening can't see it, but it's just my face gets like bright red. So, I mean, it's not like an amazing name, but I much rather this name than like tomachina or like something with tomato. Oh my god, no.
That's funny.
Whoever has a name, own it, and it's your name. But I was like really concerned. I'm like, oh, they're probably gonna give me a name like Tomato or something like that. So
or repeat it like or some. They could be Morango, and there's many Morangos.
There's a lot of Morangos.
Yeah. Which is not bad, but I'm just saying it's just like.
Yeah. No names are bad. I mean.
Exactly. But it's cool when you have you like, oh man, there's no Vermelhinha. I don't know any Vermelhinha, I think that's cool.
Here with the kids, like we have it's a really challenging name for kids to say.
Oh yeah.
It has like the Iña and the Verme, so like it's complicated. They're just like, I'm like
sure, yeah, yes, that one.
I'm like, I'm coming.
Yeah, it's the same like so I put in my nickname, the nickname to my wife, and her nickname is Canariña, like canary.
Yeah.
Every time, like the kids in my class, like, what is your nickname? They ask her, what is your nickname? And she's like, Canariña. And they, Caracasiña, and somewhere around there. You just keep practicing. It's like tongue twisting.
It's part of the art, learning a new language and all that. So
yeah, exactly.
By little.
It's like dragging the R for capoeira. Some people can't even say capoeira, but I mean, just practice.
Yeah, in Puerto Rico, everybody says capoeira. I'm like,
in Venezuela, they say like capoeira or like they change the whole name. It's just like you just read it. It's not hard.
It's really not that hard. In Spanish, it's like capoeira.
Yeah, exactly. And what attracted you from capoeira when you were when you were a little kid, or when you came back to capoeira? What was the attractive part of capoeira for you?
That's such a good question. And something that I don't really think about that much because it's like my daily thing. You know, think about, like, what was it? So yeah, I think the music, for me, it was like, the music was like, oh wow, this is so cool. Like, they're playing drums, they're like all together singing this like cool songs. I mean, everything really. I was like, I fell in love with it. Like,
like, whoa, what is this?
Community, there weren't I was like the only kid. My first couple classes, I was the only kid. I was in adult class. So
crazy.
There were a lot of kids, but I loved, like, everybody was so nice. I used to be a very, like, shy kid. And that's, like, one of the big things that capoeira has helped me with, is, like, being confident. And I used to be super shy. Like, I couldn't even order my own food at a restaurant without me, like, wanting to die.
Yeah, same. No, same.
Yeah, I was really, really shy. So, I mean, all of it, for me, everything was like, wow, this is really interesting and different. And, like, in Puerto Rico, it wasn't very common. So I remember, like, going to school and, like, making my friends sing the chorus of, like, Dona Maria, because I was learning it. I'm like, Dona Maria, como va? And they're like, Bianca, do we really have to do this? I'm like, yes, let's go.
Yeah.
Everybody making fun of me, right? Because it's, like, a different thing. And now it's kind of more common and people think it's cool. But back then, people didn't think it was cool. At least, but I didn't care. I was just...
Same.
It was like I loved it.
Yeah. Many times there were, like, sometimes we were training in the park and there were kids, like, making fun of us, and you were like, that's okay. Don't worry. It's a point where you're like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. If you love it, that's it. And that's another thing. Like, it helped me with that too, because I think a lot of kids here, like, kids struggle with that, like, what their friends are going to think about you, and and that plays such a huge role in, like, growing up, like, being who you truly want to be regardless of what anybody else thinks. It's kind of the same thing we were talking before. So just the fact that I love capoeira has been such an amazing opportunity for me to grow in that aspect, and now teaching it to the kids, like, just do what you love and don't care about what anybody else thinks. So.
Yeah, especially because older you get, it's like, it starts when you're a kid, but older you get, it's like, I'm not gonna do that because I'm gonna look stupid. It's like, no, man, you're not gonna look stupid. Especially, like, do you teach classes?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, so, like, if you tell an adult comes to you and be like, I'm gonna look stupid, it's like, dude, I'm gonna teach you something I'm not gonna make you look stupid. You know, like, the whole point is for you to not look stupid. You know what I mean? It's like, but you gotta practice.
And even if at the beginning we look, like, quote unquote stupid, I mean, if we never look stupid and we're just always doing what we're good at because we're afraid of people thinking that we look stupid, then we're just gonna be, like, super stuck in life.
Yes.
Anytime you try anything new, you are risking the fact that you're gonna not be that great at it. And
exactly.
That's fine. Like, who cares? At least you're progressing. So.
Yeah. Last couple weeks, I went to a high school and to teach a class, like, just like a 2 hours class, and all teenagers. And the teenagers are the most hard to try to get into capoeira because they're gonna judge me. My friends, they're not gonna do it. So blah blah. And then I was like, you know, like, when we start little kids, we fall all the time, and we don't get judged. We just, like, keep practicing until it's a point when we learn how to walk. And then we learn how to run, and then we learn how to jump, and you go learning all the time. So this exact same thing. You just learn how to do a cartwheel, how to do an AU, and just you don't know how to do it, do baby steps.
Yeah.
But
it's true, like you said, teens is a challenging.
Yes, it's a challenging age.
Yeah. But what I realized is like it's a challenging age for anything, not just capoeira. Like they're going through so many changes. And right now in our society with like YouTube and Instagram, like, this is a completely different society right now. I feel like
it is.
They're exposed to so many different things that I was, and probably you too.
Yeah.
But I think when capoeira calls you, that's it. Like
it's for you. Is you there?
Yeah. Sometimes we do like presentations or shows, and even if there's teens, like you can see some of them. It's like they like it, but they don't want to like show that they like it.
Yeah.
Want to act cool, but then they come over. They're like, "What is that? How do you play that?" I'm like, "Bro, you're capoeira. Let's go."
Yeah. Here's the jingle, and then try to do it, and they play around, and they leave with a bigger smile.
Yeah. Who's capoeira? It's just
yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Then now it's funny that you said, you mentioned the part of like how capoeira has been helping you, because that's actually the next question. Like, you think capoeira is been helping you just for like the shyness, or do you think it's helping building that confidence or something else?
Wow. I can't even I could do a whole hour talk about all the things that capoeira has helped me with. But mainly, definitely like being more confident and also like self-express, like being able to just be myself. Because I actually made a post. I made the post for the group's social media, and I just made a post about like everybody doing a different their jinga, but everybody has their own style. So if we're doing the same movement, it's like it's like you can share your own version of it. So that was really cool for me because like growing up, you just want to be like your friends. Like everything your friends do, you don't have like that like uniqueness about yourself. So it helped me find that in myself of like how can I express myself true to myself and it's still okay. And it's like actually it makes it even better that I can like share who I truly am. It makes me be more like successful and happy and all of that. So that's one thing. But being that I started capoeira in Puerto Rico and then moved to Miami. When I moved, I was 15 years old. So it was very challenging for me to move. I didn't speak English. I was going to a new school. So honestly, like capoeira was like all I had in a way, because it was hard for me to like click with people at school because I didn't speak the language. That age, everybody
different culture.
Like nobody wants the new girl or like whatever.
Yeah.
So thank God I had capoeira, because I went through like hell during high school. Like when I moved, it was very challenging. It was very challenging not knowing the language, and like I said, like at that age, everybody already has their groups. I left all in Puerto Rico, like friends that I grew up with. It was hard. So the fact that I had capoeira, that's all I looked forward. Like I was in class like this, just looking at the teacher. I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to go train. And just like even train for the rest of the night. And then the next day again. So capoeira really like kept me honestly sane. I don't know how, it kept me sane and also like away from a lot of stuff that kids my age were doing at that time.
Oh wow.
The friends that I had in school or even in Puerto Rico, like went a completely different route.
Crazy.
Drugs and like the festival community, like the like acid and like all that. Yeah. That was my group of friends. If you see them now, that's where they're at. And like I had capoeira, I was taught not to like drink and to train. I was focused on training. I didn't have time to like go and do acid trips. But like who knows where I would have been, honestly, if I would have gone just like other people that I know. So that's huge. You
wouldn't have the friends you have now. You wouldn't have the relationship you have now, or you wouldn't have the job you have right now.
Really,
it's crazy. Just like destiny put you on that path. Mm-hmm. That's so cool.
Just like a random hole that they had on Fridays, which is crazy because that group doesn't even exist anymore. But it's like that just goes to show, it's like a little tangent, but that just goes to show that like we all have like an impact when we're following like our passion. Because whoever was hosting those holas in Puerto Rico 100 years ago, I don't even know how many years ago, when I was a kid, had like a huge impact in my life. Like look where I'm at today, because they chose to do holas every Friday. Like
right in front of across the street.
Yeah. We don't know what, like, whatever, whoever's listening and you and me, like, whatever we feel called to do, like, there's no time for hesitation because you have no idea, like, who you're going to be impacting and who's going to be, like, ready to receive what you have to offer.
That's for sure, yeah. Because I remember when I went to my first capoeira class, man, I think we were probably, like, 20, 25 in that class. And honestly, I think today's days, it's probably a full hand of the people there, including me, that do capoeira right now.
Yeah.
And it's like, and when now I'm connecting more capoeira here, we're doing this kind of stuff. It's like, you're completely right. You're completely right on that part.
You never know, like, the change you can make and so on. And that's the thing, like, if you do capoeira and you think you can make a living off of it, let go of that, because if you're following, like, your truth and your passion, you have, like, an incredible gift. And you just got to do it your own way. You gotta keep pushing, you gotta do it your way, and it's gonna come true. But if you think like, oh, it's impossible, and you don't like fully commit to it, it's not gonna work out. But that's just with anything. It doesn't have to be with it. It's anything.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And you never know who's watching when you. I talked to this about this with a few interviews back, where like they thought they just recording themselves and posting on social media. Just as a commitment for themselves. And then somebody told them, is like, hey, like, thank you for posting those videos. It's really motivating me. And you never know who's watching,
Literally. Yeah. And who's going through stuff. I mean, as long as you feel happy, just keep expressing, keep posting. Who cares? I post a lot of capoeira stuff.
That's really cool. That's awesome. It's
fun for me. It's like a way of like creative express myself and connect with like capoeira all over the world. Like me and my boyfriend, we did a video. It was like dancing first, and then we went straight into capoeira. We do like
yeah.
And then this like other couple, I don't know if they're a couple, but a guy and a girl did like an imitation video of what we did in Argentina. I was like, that's so cool.
So cool. It is really cool.
Yeah. That's something I love about capoeira. Like we were just talking about it because right now we have a friend over. I've never met her before, but she lives in New York. She trains with Abada Capoeira, and she needed a place to stay in Florida, so she's staying with us.
That's so cool.
Like, I love that about capoeira. You can travel.
Yes.
And just be like, hey, I practice capoeira in Florida. I'm going to be in town. Do you or any of your students have a place I could crash for the weekend? Yeah, I promise you're going to find someone.
I'm 100% sure, yes.
It's so cool. It's awesome.
Yes. I remember, I actually, that reminds me and my wife, we were doing a road trip all the way to West. And we were in Oregon, and we had to pass through California to go to LA. And then we were like, but that's like a bunch of hours drive. We need to rest like halfway. And then Mestre Dilaho, Mestre in Oregon, he was like, oh, but I know this guy from Capoeira Brazil. I didn't know him. In San Francisco. I'll give you his contact information. Oh, yeah, sure. I text him through Facebook, and he was like, oh, yeah, same thing like you just said. Yeah, here's my student. Text her. She will take care of you guys.
That literally makes me want to cry. Like, that's just so
I know. It's really cool. Yeah, and we were like, hey, like we were passing through, so blah, blah. We were talking all night about capoeira.
Yeah. That's better too, because like you can talk about it, play music, like.
Yeah, and you just make a new friend. It's so cool. It's just really cool. There's no thing about capoeira that I can say like, no, I hate this about capoeira. It's just like, man, I don't know. It's so hard for me. I have to like think really hard for me to say that. So now coming back to the beginning, how do you get into that part for you to have a full-time job in capoeira?
So I'm the type of person that so outside of capoeira, I studied to be a life coach, and I've coached a lot of people. Right now I'm not doing it because I'm like here full time, but back then, before I started working here, I was like constantly coaching people into like anything is possible. Like no matter what you like think that it's like, oh, but there's not like a career like that, or there's not a studio that has classes like that. No, it doesn't matter. Like whatever you can even like imagine, you can have it happen. So that's like what I started applying it to myself. I'm like, okay, so I'm not like, I am a monitora, but I'm not like a super high court where I can like start teaching. But I walked in here, they have an after school program. I've been working with kids for forever. I love kids.
Oh, cool.
So it's like a mixture of everything. And it's just, I don't know if people that listen to you are into this kind of stuff, but I truly believe that like when you're in alignment with like your true self, like the universe, God, whatever you believe in, like just opens doors for you. And it's kind of like, I want to say fell on my lap, but it really didn't, because nothing happens by chance. And it wasn't like I'm just laying in my couch every day and all of a sudden like I had
wishing the stuff happened. Yeah.
I was like constantly like working inside of myself of like all those beliefs that would stop me from even considering this as a possibility, or like all the insecurities, or all the things that would like, oh, but you're not like good enough at capoeira, or you're not like a super good teacher, or like whatever it is, like all those little conversations that we have in our head about not being good enough. I was ass off to like really let go of all of that. So when I say like it fell on my lap, it almost feels like that, but I did a lot of like internal work. And external work to like land something like this, and nothing. And then I volunteered here. Like I just worked a little bit, volunteered for a little bit, and then got a part-time position. And then, I mean, when you do what you love, you do amazing work. So I've been like, showing up, really like passionate here and doing a good job, I guess. And then they promoted me to a full-time, and now I'm like, this is a huge, and this is possible for anybody, because Mestre Bechino and Profesora Fomia, they created like a badass business here. It's not just like come here, train capoeira. This is like a huge after school, like personal growth for the kids to like really learn about confidence. We have a teen leadership program for the teens. We have like a nonprofit for like libraries that we're gonna start teaching and things like that. So it's like a whole amazing business. I don't know, it's really cool. So they have the opportunity of like hiring employees, which is
that's awesome.
That we don't see in capoeira that much.
Yeah.
And I think being in the space is also like raised my bar as to like what's possible inside of capoeira.
Yes, that's awesome.
And there's nothing wrong with like going to like a martial arts place and renting the space and teaching one capoeira class like every like 3 times a week. We can all start there. That's awesome, but this could be an example of like what's possible if you're like 100%.
Absolutely.
And you can create like a legit business where you can how do you say that, like hire people that are passionate about capoeira and give them the opportunity to do this as a job. Like just like create a career, if we can call it that way. And I feel like any person that teach capoeira out there is their dream. I think of like, you know, I want to have my own space. I want to have a lot of classes. I want to have this place full of people doing capoeira, or doing programs, or doing dances, or any other activity besides capoeira, but capoeira in this place. And I think that's a great example. It is. And it takes like what I've learned from them. Like I'm not gonna like come here and pretend that it's like, oh, what I did. No, I'm working for them, but what I've learned from them is like really how they're able to create something like this is that they're passionate about it, which we all are, but also like they do things right. Like remember how I was like, okay, let's meet whatever day, and then I don't answer, that won't work. And that's learning. And I understand that where that comes from. Like I didn't grow up seeing that was like a thing, like an honorable thing to do, like be your word, and if you're gonna say you're gonna be at one place at one time, you're there. Like I didn't grow up seeing that. I'm learning now. Like in order to like really be, and when I say successful, it's not like making money or whatever, but like to achieve your goals and all that, you have to like really be your word. And that means like, say you're gonna do something at this time, you're gonna do that thing at one time. It's not like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be teaching every other Thursday, and then that Thursday you text your students like, hey, I'm not gonna make it today, but like that is gonna go down. And I've seen that a lot. That's why I give
Same. Yeah. I've seen that a lot on instructors where it's like, man, those students are like excited, and then sometimes those instructors, hopefully, people out there understand this and don't take this to the wrong way. But where like that's why sometimes schools they don't grow, and then it's like, why my class is not growing? It's like, well, like you gotta be a little bit committed to more serious to this.
Committed to the academy, and also committed to like working on yourself and like
yourself. Yes.
People in the door, because if you think you're gonna, I mean, it's not easy. If not everybody could do it, so you gotta
exactly
leave your ego in the door and be like, okay, so how can I improve myself so that I can like achieve all these things?
Exactly. And it's not so. I think the word is shortage. Mm-hmm. Like there's no shortcut to get there, and you have to go through it. Yeah. And you just gotta keep trying it.
Yeah.
And how can instructor get into like after school programs?
So that's the thing. Like I started working here when they already had like something really like established.
Oh, cool.
Built. But I know they started teaching like a YMCA first, and like
nice. Okay.
On the door there. But from what I've heard from them and like other people that have been working or at least training with them since back then, it started small. It just started with one kid.
Wow, that's crazy.
They picked up one kid at school and did the homework, then trained, and that kid is still here. Roman, he's
that's
still,
so cool.
One of the teenagers. We did a teen leadership program, and he's one of the teens.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's really.
So
awesome.
they pretty much saw them growing up. That's so cool, man. I admire those stuff.
Yeah. There's a bunch of like teens here, and like we have for Malibu Hasha, if you guys want to check him out. He is he's 21, 20. But he started when he was like, I don't even know how old, like 9 years ago or something like that.
Wow.
And now he's like an adult. He's teaching the classes. Like that's it. He's a Formalo. He's gonna be the instructor. But since they're little.
Wow, that's crazy. That's so cool.
Yeah, another girl too. There's a bunch of them here. It's really awesome.
Yeah, I just started a small program on a community center pretty close to here, where I have a 6 years old little girl, and she's so cute. And she's so smart. And she just speaks English. Mm-hmm. And the first class, I taught her the Shue Shua. Mm-hmm. And then the second class, I taught her CCC, now. Mm-hmm. And the last class, I taught her like Apamayibimba 1, 2, 3. And when I asked her, do you remember first one? Yeah. What is it? Is it Obifase Shue Shua? It's like, man, that's so cool. And the second one, do you remember the second one? Yeah. And he's like, man, it's impressive how like you remember those kind of stuff. And I was like, you're super smart. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's really cool. Yeah, I love teaching kids. It's like they're super cute, and it's very challenging too.
It is really, really challenging. Yeah.
It's very challenging, especially an after-school program, because they come straight from school. They've been told what to do, sit still, pay attention, do this, that, like the whole day. So now they're out of school, and it's like stand still, jinga, kick. They're like, it's like it takes off energy from the teachers to be able to like catch their attention.
Yes, it does.
Ready to like run around and go crazy, and yeah.
Yeah, because this little girl, she's like, every time someone pass by the door, she's like, mm-hmm. Hey, like try to like move her, and now do the cartwheel on the way, and it's hard to like. But it's awesome. I always get like energized after that class. I don't know. I get fed up with that energy. It's really, really cool. And then to like kind of like wrap it up, because I'm pretty sure you busy too. You got stuff to do. Almost 10 p.m. here. I think we're in the same time.
Same.
Okay. So as a female capoeirista, how do you think, from you being a little bit around the capoeira community, how do you think we can make the capoeira community female stronger?
That's such a tricky question for me, because I tend to like I'm all about woman empowerment and that I think I think we should practice more human empowerment, right? Like just like you would treat another man capoeirista, like what would make us as a better, like what would make us a better community for anybody in capoeira? That anybody feels safe, feels heard, feels like motivated, feels that they can accomplish like anything they put their mind to. Like how can it's so okay, so that question, how can we do that? Then I mean, ego at the door.
Yes.
Ego at the door. There's no purpose. And I understand like most of the time we're blind that we have even an ego because we've been wearing that for so long. It's all we know. But just like have compassion towards each other, motivate each other to train hard and respect. I think respect is the biggest one. In terms of feminine, I think just like a guy, just like anybody, just train hard.
That's awesome. I like that.
Yeah, and I love and I respect that you're doing this, like the whole like woman empowerment, like it's really, really awesome, especially they went to Brazil in December and they told me like in Bahia it's still very, very much like girls don't play. Like,
oh wow.
Like it's very like, and if they play with a girl, even if the girl is good, they play very like oh we gotta be careful with the girl or whatever, like whatever. Girls are on one side just, and all just the guys watching. And playing, and then they're like, okay, woman, let's get the woman play, and they just put the woman. And even at one point, they told me that they started singing like this song. I don't even know what song it was, but it's like a song that talks about like women being like to look pretty or blah blah. And the mestre, our mestre, was like, no, we're not singing that song in this song. Like you guys are like way behind. We're not doing that.
Whoa, that's crazy.
It's still a thing. So I appreciate the fact that like you're doing this and that we're having a conversation.
Thank you. I appreciate the effort of like, because I just like last year, right after I started the podcast. So I started the podcast a year ago, and then I went to Brazil August last year. I was doing just like all capoeiristas, and then I saw this Maestra Francesinha. She was having this conversation about how women had history in capoeira, and it has an impact inside capoeira, but there's nowhere. No one talks about that, you know, and no one says anything about that. You hear about the stories of like, oh yeah, all the wives of Mestre Bimba, or yeah, all the, but that's it. And like, what about the woman that play capoeira in the hut? And Mestra Francesinha was talking about that, where she says like, you know, like sometimes the woman with those big ass dresses, they like pull it up, tie it up to the knees, and they just jump to the hut, and that was a thing before, but no one says those kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and yeah. And when I heard that, it like, poof, like blew my mind. And I was like, Mestra, I want to have you on the podcast. I want you to talk about this. And because I want not just in the US or Canada. In Europe is I don't know too much about the capoeira community in Europe, so I don't want to say anything that I don't even know. But in Europe, I hope that's a thing too. And in South America is getting there. And I think that's awesome because, again, capoeira was made to bring people together.
Yeah, and as like worldwide, or at least in the United States and worldwide too, like this is an ongoing like shift that is happening too. It's not just in our capoeira world, but it's like I think women, we have to be careful as women too to fall into like separate
the ego part.
Yeah. Like just. I get it. We've been oppressed. I get it. We've been treated like we're less than. I understand. I feel the pain. Like sometimes I even feel it for past generations. I'm like, damn, that sucks. Like that sucks. That has to suck. Like not being able to express yourself, not being able to like feel heard, and
yes,
you know, and like seeing, from generations, just seeing like men rule, and nothing against men at all. But it is true that like there's like a masculine and a feminine energy, so like men tend to handle situations in a different way that a woman would. And if as a world we're not listening to women, we're just handling situations in a very masculine way, which I feel like it's like more like wars and like things have we've been resolving issues in the world. So now women, I feel like we're like coming to like
the mixture,
a blend of like hearing each other out and learning from each other, and allowing also like now that the women, the feminine energy is like rising, we're also giving permission for the men to play with that energy, to like show the fact that you are a man and you're doing this podcast and all that. That's like a huge step towards like just unifying all of us. It's not a woman that is like, let's talk about women empowerment. No, it's a man.
Let's talk about capoeira.
Yeah, let's talk about capoeira. You just happen to be a woman, and I want to give you the space and the mic for you to speak.
Yeah, and that's the point of like, again, when we go to the hall that we play capoeira, you know, we don't play men capoeira or woman capoeira. We just play capoeira. And it's
train. If you're a woman listening, just train hard, train with guys, train with girls, go in the hoda, play, have fun, play, bro, just play. Just go.
Yeah, I agree. And if there's a male where you see the woman like kind of like shy, just like elbow her and be like, hey, you know, like, let's go play. How many times do you play? You played. Or if there's a girl being a guy, because there's guys too, where like we step back and like, I don't feel like playing. Hey, shut up. Come on, jump to the hoda.
Yeah, at the end, we're all one. And that's what I was going to say. Like, yes, there might be more women that feel like, oh, I don't want to go in. But I've seen guys too.
I feel like that sometimes.
Yeah, more shy or whatever. So at the end of the day, we're just all one, and we're here to like lift each other up and train.
Yes, I really like that. I like that. Yeah, I like that part where you say like we don't want the woman to get into the egocentric part where like, oh well, now we woman, you man, you there, us here. It's like, let's mix everything, you know, at least we're all one. We all came from the same place. Exactly.
And there's like, it's such a waste of time to think that we're separate, because we're not.
There's no point. Yeah. And now to like wrap it up, the last question. For the capoeira community in general, what would you be your advice just for the capoeira community in general? For all the generations or everybody in the capoeira community?
For the capoeira community, I think is remember and honor where our martial art came from. And it's like so much bigger than ourselves. Like, it's so much bigger than any little drama you have in your academy or any little. It's like there's a big purpose, and we can like continue to carry that on in our communities, outside of our academies. And it's the same thing. It's a waste of energy to like get lost on little things. There's a big purpose, and we're part of that. So it's just like carrying the name of capoeira with like pride, and like honoring the fact that like slaves use this to connect, to deal with like hardship, and we can bring that to like communities that still feel oppressed and still feel like the same feelings, even if they're not slaves right now. But there's people out there that feel like they're going through a lot, and we have the opportunity to share that. So that's like the big picture, and focus on yourself and train, and that's it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's great. And then I like that where like, you know, like you just gotta help each other. I don't think there's right or wrong answer, but just helping each other just makes everything easier.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to say one more thing. It's it's like being careful with being too hard on ourselves. Like, because capoeira it's a challenging. It's not. I don't want to talk about other sports, but I'm just saying capoeira has a lot of challenging movements, challenging like instruments and things like that. So like not being too hard on ourselves and just like having fun with it while you're learning, and not comparing yourself to anybody else. Just do your own thing. Absolutely.
I like that part, because especially now today's day with social media, oh man, I can do this movement, or oh man, this person is playing like this. It's like, man, you know, don't be shy to like show whatever you do. Everybody is not like a specific playbook where you say like, this is a capoeirista. You just like, no, man. Yeah. We all are capoeiristas.
Yeah, I made speaking about the women's thing, I made a post, I think yesterday. It's like, what if as women we don't say, instead of saying like, oh, she's beautiful, how do I measure up to her, or how do I compare to her? It's like, it's more like, oh, she's beautiful and I am too. And that's it. Like, leaving it as that. There's no need to compare. And the same with capoeira. It's like his or her game is like amazing, and my game is amazing in my own way. And I'm not stopping now. Like, it's gonna get even better and better and better.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I spend complaining about how it doesn't compare to that when I'm wasting time. I should just be training.
Yeah, exactly. I like that part. Yeah, go like, instead of wasting the energy of complaining, just go train.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. And or read about capoeira or anything. Just use it to learn something. Oh, that's great. That's great. And now one last thing. What are your social medias one more time so people can find you?
Okay, so on Instagram is Monitora __ Vermelhinha, and on Facebook is Bianca Puig, Puig.
Nice. Well, thank you so much. One more time, thank you so much for sharing all your capoeira experience, your capoeira knowledge, especially the business part. And thank you so much for being part of the podcast.
Thank you for having me and for doing this work. This is awesome. I love it.
Of course. For the capoeira community.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. And talk to you soon.
Yes.
Keep training. Bye.
Keep training.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.
All right. I just want to share something with you really quick. If you are listening to this and you teach or assist to a capoeira class, or even if you have an event coming up, I want to help you. I want to help our capoeira community, because there's nothing more important to me than help our capoeira community. Because classes are more fun when there's more people to share this sachet, this energy so awesome that capoeira has. So I want to share your class or event in our podcast. So reach out to us with school name or any information on how people can find you, and send it to our email, podcastcapoeira@gmail.com. That's podcastcapoeira@gmail.com. And I will share that information here in our podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you like this podcast. If you did, take a screenshot, send it to someone that knows about capoeira or of course wants to learn. Share it everywhere. Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, everywhere. And help us grow this community with a subscribe. Thank you so much. Peace.